Hey everybody, this is HD and it's time for another exhibition pro game broadcast between two very good players. I'm excited today to be broadcasting to you guys Team Liquid's very own Haypro, and Haypro is a very good Zerg player. I've had the pleasure of watching a ton of his games before. Never really casted too many of his games, but I do know that he's an extremely solid Zerg. He is going to be the Zerg player here in the top right hand position. He even says that Zerg is too strong because he knows Zerg is the best race ever. I mean, I love Zerg personally. You guys all know I'm a Zerg player at heart. So I gotta be rooting for my Zerg brethren, and his opponent is going to be none other than the disgusting, the vile Terran race. No, I'm just kidding. This game is awesome. I love all the races. It is gonna be TreefOu. I've never actually casted a game of Tree before. And I do believe this is a Battle.net exhibition matchup, so this is going to be a single game. I was looking around for a good Terran versus Zerg, and apparently this game got a lot of rave reviews, and I'm hoping this is going to be a nice long one. I haven't had the pleasure or the opportunity to cast a super nice long Terran versus Zerg macro game in quite some time, and I do of course miss this matchup. As most of you guys know, this is my favorite. This is my favorite matchup to play and to cast, so I am looking forward to this game. It looks like Tree here is going to be throwing down a barracks at his front door with a supply depot. This is kind of strange. A lot of times Terran players will opt to wall in here rather than the ramp below, but I guess Tree is going to switch it up just a little bit. And note his barracks has a double rally point set, one to go here and then one to go onwards all the way over to the Xel'Naga watchtowers. So we are going to be seeing some early aggression for Tree here. I do believe he's going to try to pump a couple Marines out and maybe even a bunker. So this is going to be a tough spot for Haypro because he's gone for the 14 hatch. Not too difficult though, because it's not a 2 barracks attack, it's just a single barracks. He is now getting his spawning pool down, so I think he should be able to hold this off just fine. We'll see. It's going to come down to the micro. Tree here is going to actually have his SCV just chilling here for a second, and Haypro will put the drone straight to work to start to drill this SCV away and scare it off. And here comes the first Marine. So Tree is going to start to apply that that Terran pressure against the Zerg. Haypro, very nice spot with the Overlord. This is a great spot to put your scouting Overlord on Xel'Naga caverns because it can see the entire center of the map. It looks like Tree is going to try to get his bunker up here, but the drone will probably prevent this bunker from going down. Tree trying to keep the SCV alive so he can get the bunker out. A bunch of drones being pulled off the mineral line here as Haypro is expecting a 2 barracks attack, but it is only a single barracks, and I think this is going to be plenty enough to deal with the Marine. The bunker actually ends up killing the Marine because the Marine had nowhere to run away to. So the bunker will get canceled, and Haypro's looking quite good here. Here comes the second Marine, but the second Marine will actually have to fall back because, yeah, that attack is going to not do any damage whatsoever. And Haypro, the Zerg player, is going to start to run wild with his economy. I would honestly expect at this point in the game just mass drone. That's really the best option for the Zerg. You're not scared of any kind of an attack. Scout out with a couple of lings, and as soon as he sees that there's really only 1 barracks, he is going to be he's going to feel very comfortable and very safe at just pumping mass drones. And as you guys can see, production tab showing just drones and creep tumors going down for Haypro. Meanwhile, TreefOu says, you know, I don't want to fall behind an economy either. I'm going to throw up a command center. Pretty much a 1 barracks in the command center opening. Very bold. But this can obviously work if the Zerg player is going for eco himself. And I think Tree is going to be happy to know that he's not going to be behind an economy as long as he can get some kind of security over his natural expansion. This is a somewhat difficult map for Terrans to secure the natural safely because there's just so many avenues to attack. Look at this, backside, over here, and over here. A lot of tough spots. It looks like an SCV just got destroyed here. So there was an SCV that hopped into the main of Haypro, but it did get taken out. And right now we're just kind of chilling in the macro phase for both players. Haypro throwing up a couple spine crawlers as well, obviously fearing some kind of a Hellion rush or some kind of mass Marine attack. But I don't think we're going to be seeing anything like that anytime soon. Actually, scratch that. There's a lot of factories going up here for a Tree. Oh my god, 3 factories going down, and he has got full saturation going on, double refineries. So, wow, what could this mean? Obviously, a couple of avenues here. I would expect to see mass Hellions to open up this game, and then we're going to actually see a transition into mass mech versus the Zerg. So this could be a very, very interesting game indeed. Here comes the tech lab going down, and I would honestly expect to see Infernal Pre-Igniter. There we go, being researched. The second factory has a reactor being added down, and a Hellion already coming out of the third factory. And note, this Marine primarily positioned to block off any scouting overlords. Right now, Tree does not want to reveal his hand. He's gone for Mass Mech, and again with Mass Mech with Hellions, and later on I would expect to see Siege Tanks and Thors. Banshees, possibly. I don't think that Banelings are going to be very effective whatsoever. And indeed, Haypro is actually going for a Banelings nest. Honestly, Banelings are great against Mass Marines, Mass Bio, and they're pretty effective against Hellions as well. But Haypro is going to soon realize that his Banelings are not going to be effective against the mass late game mech of Thors and Siege Tanks. So we'll see what happens. It looks like a ton of Hellions have now popped out of these factories. They're just waiting for Infernal Pre-Igniter, and they are no doubt going to move out and start to do some damage. Haypro also going for his third expansion. So right now Haypro thinks that he can go ahead and go for this mass eco style, but very soon he's going to be facing again down the barrel of Blue Flame Hellions. And the question is, does he have forces to deal with that? Does he have any roaches? It really doesn't look like he has any roach warren whatsoever. So he's going to have to rely almost solely on spine crawlers, speedlings. He's not going to have Mutalisks in time. And here comes the humongous pack of Blue Flame Hellions. That is about 12 Hellions coming out right now. Thankfully, Haypro has a bunch of creep tumors, so he will be able to deal with the Hellions if he has speedlings, and he's going to need a lot of speedlings to deal with this. Here comes the Blue Flame Hellions, going to run straight into the main of Haypro, and Haypro in a lot of trouble. The Blue Flame is going to just eradicate a bunch of these lings. Meanwhile, two Blue Flame Hellions also running around the backside of the natural, and there's a lot of damage that can possibly be done here. Tree is going to roast up all of these speedlings, and he's going to kill off a ton of drones at the natural expansion. TreefOu is just doing work right now. It looks like these Hellions right here didn't kill off too many of the drones, and it looks like these Hellions right here not killing off as many drones as I would have thought either. So right now, Haypro doing a good job of keeping his drones alive, and I think he may actually have minimized his drone casualties. Unbelievably, he only lost about, I would say, about 15 drones. I would say he was about 50 earlier. Now he's down to 33, so he didn't really lose as many drones as I thought he would, considering how many Hellions came out with Blue Flames. Tree was able to minimize his casualties, and he is certainly not out of this game, although he is behind. Now he has switched over to Mutalisk technology. He's evolved his everything over to Mutalisk, and that's a lot of Mutalisks out right now, and obviously Blue Flame Hellions not effective against Mutalisks. So now Haypro starting to swing back the control of the game. He now has map control, and he has to harass with these Mutalisks. He is behind in economy. He has to do some kind of damage with these mutas. Notice though, he's first forced to pick off these Hellions though, because if he doesn't, then the Hellions are just going to do so much damage to his economy. So finally, after all the Hellions have gone down, he can do some counterattack, but Tree already one step ahead of him. Wow. He's got two Thors inside the main. No Thors at the natural, but he's got missile turrets coming up. So he is just super safe, super solid, and very secure right now against any type of Mutalisk counterattack. And Haypro is in a lot of trouble. He's got to catch up in economy. He has a third expansion that he has no saturation whatsoever at. And honestly, his Mutalisks here are probably not going to do any damage at all. I would expect Tree to move one Thor over to the main and one Thor over to the natural. Right now he's got two at the main, so a little bit of overkill. If he could move one Thor over to the natural, that would really make both of his expansions very, very safe against any kind of air harass. But it doesn't look like Haypro is going to commit. He's just going to chill with his Mutalisk in the corner of the map. He knows that there's just too many Thors right now, and it's too dangerous for his Mutalisk to move in and try to harass the SCVs. But hey, here we go. He's going to go ahead and try anyways. Going to go into the natural expansion, picks off the refinery, it looks like. Yes, the refinery is going to go down. So nice little attack right there. But honestly, not doing the damage he needs to do. He's still somewhat behind, I would imagine. No, he's actually caught up in SCVs, in drones. He's at 56 over 48, so not a bad job for Haypro here. But wow, three Blue Flame Hellions right there. I did not catch that. Just running into the third expansion. It seems that they roasted about 8 or 9 drones there. So nice little Blue Flame attack once again from Tree. And Tree is just keeping this Blue Flame harass on and on and on, and it's just doing a great job thus far. Haypro and both Tree now, I would say they're pretty much even at this point in the game, because Haypro has been able to macro up quite a large number of drones. But here is the danger. The Terran player is about to establish the gold expansion on Xel'Naga Caverns, and this is absolutely devastating to any Zerg player. Zerg players do not want to allow the Terran player to get this gold, because this is when a large army of Marines can start to be pumped out, and the Terran player becomes almost darn near invincible. The one thing that Haypro's got going for him is that Tree did not build an orbital command. Tree is actually being greedy here and has gone for, excuse me, not a planetary fortress. He's gone greedy and he's built an orbital command rather than a planetary, which I think is a bit of a mistake. I think on this map you should go for a planetary to be safe. So I guess the Xel'Naga Caverns, I guess this gold expansion is somewhat vulnerable actually, because it's not a planetary fortress, it is an orbital command, it's not as defensive, and it's not as invulnerable as one might think. So maybe Haypro's got a chance in this game here, as he's starting to pick off his gold rocks. And this game is starting to maneuver itself into the very, very late game Zerg versus Protoss, currently at 15 minutes, but both armies are very, very large. We can see Haypro's at 126 supply. We can see that TreefOu is at 154 supply. So Tree still has an army advantage despite the economic disadvantage. He's even got a Raven coming out here, which is kind of strange. But PDD can be very effective. It's a very effective spell, point defense drone against Mutalisk. It can basically halt all Mutalisk attacks. So I like the Raven coming out here for TreefOu. He's actually going to advance forward with an army of Marines and Hellions, but no, just to pick off the creep tumors. And that's the other bonus that you get when you get the Raven out. The Raven is very effective at picking off creep tumors. And here we go once again.